invoking Bhagwan's presence and benediction in this holy satsang, respected elders and my dear sisters and brothers, a very loving Sai Ram to all of you. Firstly, I offer this talk on the topic before we sit in meditation at the divine lotus feet. An overseas devotee of Bhagwan, he wanted to come to Puttaparthi once, and when he expressed his wish of his to his friends, a friend of his, who is also a devotee of Swami from the same Sai Samiti, he said, I have got an apartment in Puttaparthi, and you can go and stay there as long as you want and enjoy your stay there. All the facilities are there. I'll give you a note. Take this note and give it to the caretaker, and he will allow you to stay in the apartment. So this devotee comes to Puttaparthi one fine day with the note, and he lands up in front of the apartment and rings the bell. The apartment door opens after quite some time, and 3 or 4 quite hefty, nasty-looking men, they storm out of the apartment, and they don't give this devotee a chance to explain anything. They snatch the note from him, they tear it away into pieces, and they just lift him up literally and throw him out. This is what happens one fine day when we decide, oh, I will sit and meditate from today. The negative forces that have taken over our mind, which have inhabited the mind, the squatters in the mind, the hatred, jealousy, anger, desire, all the 6 inner enemies, the Arishad Vargas, their children, their grandchildren, the entire family who are lurking in every crevice and corner of the mind, they will not just allow us to meditate. They will just throw the thought of meditation out. And that is why today's topic, what should we do before we sit in meditation? And before going to the topic per se, I would like to make one more point. Most of us, with a few exceptions, whenever we travel by a train or cab or even an aeroplane, we want the window seat. Because looking through the window, we are engrossed in the changing landscape outside, men and women walking, and the man-made constructions, shops with boards, and some even tend to read the names in front of these shops. But today, the scene may be a little different. People may not prefer the window seat, but they have a different kind of window in their hands itself. Various kinds of handheld gadgets, the tablet, the mobile phone, but the activity is nevertheless the same. They are just looking at the outside world all the time. So our senses are always directed outwards, and the senses are the windows for the mind, and the mind is only interested in being always with this ephemeral, ever-changing world. And why does this happen to us? Is it our fault? No, it is not our fault. Why? See, if we see the ladder of evolution, man comes after animal. In case of animals, if we see their capabilities, as far as the senses are concerned, they are quite uncanny. Because they have to go behind the prey, watch for the prey, catch the prey, and it is a survival mechanism for them. So their eyes and ears are always directed outwards. But unfortunately, this mechanism has been carried on to human beings also. This mantra from the Kathopanishad says, Paranchi kani vyatrinat swayam bhuhu tasmat parang pashyati na antaratman. See, the Swayambhu, the Creator, He created us in such a way that the senses always want to see what is outside and not which is inside. Na antaratman. But Kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam aikshad Avritta chakshuhu amritatvam ichan. Then came a certain dhira, a courageous man, a man of buddhi, a man of discernment. And what did he do? He changed the entire setting. Why? To seek immortality. He knew the only way is to look inwards. And one of the powerful ways to do this is through meditation. And Bhagwan once, speaking to a group of teachers, he said, see, this external objective world which I have created for you, I have not blessed this world to give you happiness. Swami, then how are we supposed to get happiness? Swami said, I have given you another world. What is this world, Swami? It is the inner world. Look inside, only then you get happiness. So this is what Swami has told about the need for us always to look inwards. Sai, S-A-I, is nothing but see always inside. As far as the uniqueness of human being to meditate goes, Swami often tells this interesting Chinnakatha. Swami says, once there was a meeting of 4-legged animals. It was called Chatushpada Mahasabha. And the purpose of the meeting was, these animals had heard that man is superior to every other being on the earth. And they wanted to refute this point. So they all get together and they appoint the fox as their attorney. As we all know, the fox is known for its good talking, clever talking. And they bring a yogi to be the judge for this argument. Because he, being a yogi, he is an unbiased person and he can give a fair judgment. That's what the animals thought. So the argument started. First came the dog. The dog said, I am known for my loyalty and faithfulness. And how many men are loyal today, you tell me? In what way am I inferior to man? The yogi said, yes, you have a point. And then came the elephant. I am known for my sense of gratitude. And gratitude, this word, men don't even remember. So how can you say they are superior to me? And then came the lion, which said, I catch my prey, an animal, only when I'm hungry for my own survival, that's all. Otherwise, I don't harm or hurt anybody. And all that a man today does is to harm or hurt others in one way or the other. And how can I be inferior to such a man? And likewise, every animal went about their arguments. And the yogi listened to all this attentively and he said, all of you are correct, great and unique in your own ways, but Swami says, you are not capable of one thing that man is capable of. What is it? Swami says, M-A-N, man means Maya, remove. Man alone is capable of overcoming this illusory Maya. A, Atman, see. Only he can realize the self. N, Nirvana, attain. Only man can attain liberation. And on another occasion, Swami said, do you know why human beings have got this straight spine, the straight vertebral column, our backbone? Because man can sit erect, meditate, and ascend from manhood to Godhead. So Swami has spoken very explicitly about the need for meditation. And now coming to the topic per se, what preparation do we need to successfully meditate? As Swami says, resolution everybody makes. New Year's come and go by, so do resolutions. Not 1, 2, a dozen of resolutions we make every year. But how many of us stick to it? So what is important is resoluteness, to stick to that resolution. How do we get this resoluteness? Even in meditation, this is necessary. How do we get it? By regularity in meditation. Adhering to regularity. It means meditation has to be done every day, day after day, without giving any excuses. But mind is a great trickster. It can trick us in innumerable ways. Oh, today I have some guests at home. I have to cook a little more, clean up the house. So let me forego my 30 minutes meditation. Anyway, I'm doing it every day. Tomorrow I will do it. This will not work. We must remember, mind is a slave of repetition. Whatever we do regularly every day, the mind gets habituated to it. So is the case with meditation. So what we need is abhyasa. Regular, relentless practice is essential prerequisite for progress in meditation. The Lord in the Gita also says the same thing. See, when Arjuna asks the Lord, Chanchalam hi manah Krishna, oh, this mind is so fickle, how am I to control it? How am I to sit in one place and meditate? Krishna, throughout the Gita, if we observe carefully, he comes out as a very intelligent teacher. Means, he listens to his student so carefully without interrupting the student, and he even compliments the student for the question. Oh, your question is so good, you have a point here. So that the student is all ears to the teacher, what the teacher is going to tell. Here also Krishna says, Asapshayam hi mahabaho manodir nudur nigraham chalam. Oh Arjuna, no doubt, as you yourself say, it is so difficult to control the mind. But abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. It is only through relentless practice, of course, coupled with vairagya. I will come to this vairagya aspect later. This incident long ago happened in Chennai. A sadhu, an ochre-robed monk, once saw a 10-year-old newspaper boy who was putting newspaper at the front of every doorstep, and within just 10 or 15 minutes, without even getting down from his bicycle, he was riding a bicycle, and he was not stopping also in front of the house. While on his bicycle, by riding the bicycle, he would throw the newspaper, which would exactly hit the target, fall in front of every doorstep without any problem. And the monk asked this boy, how did you master this art, my dear little boy? Then the boy smiles at this monk and says, Abhyasena tu kaunteya. See, this shows the Bhagavad Gita is not only a user-friendly manual for life, for us, contemporary even today, but it also shows the study of scriptures, the epics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, has been a part and parcel of our culture. We have been brought up, our upbringing has been with the moral stories from these epics and these scriptures, so that we derive lessons from this and we practice in our day-to-day life. Even the small boy knew about the greatness of our scriptures and reading them from a very young age. So this is about regularity in meditation. See, so many people say it is so difficult to meditate. It is for advanced sadhakas. It is not so easy. But for that matter, anything is difficult in the beginning. Even cooking, we have all burnt our fingers so many times. The more we keep doing it, it becomes simpler. It is the same way with meditation also. The more we keep doing it every day, regularly, it becomes simpler and simpler. Then, the time of meditation. The most favorable time, as it is said in the scriptures, is the conjunction of the day and the night. Early morning when the night meets the day, and in the evening when the day meets the night. It is called the Sandhya Kalam, the Pratas Sandhya and the Sayama Sandhya. However, Bhagwan says the best time would be the Brahma Muhurtam. Complete your meditation before 6 a.m. in the morning. Because the reason Swami gives is, you're fresh from sleep, your body is fresh, the mind is also fresh, yet to get caught with the hustle and bustle of the day. So it is the best time to focus in meditation. And Swami also says in Brahma Muhurtam, all over the universe, so many yogis, elevated souls, they are sitting and meditating. So we are able to synchronize our meditation with theirs, so that the effects of meditation are enhanced when we do in Brahma Muhurtam. And I would say a practical thing for us to do meditation in Brahma Muhurtam would be, in a household, not everyone is spiritually inclined, at least to do meditation. So, early morning when we get up and sit with our eyes closed, they may think, what is this? This is a big nuisance. Instead of doing household chores, why is she sitting and meditating? So they get disturbed, and this in turn may disturb us also. That is why when all these house members are still fast asleep, if we can get up early morning, we are able to meditate peacefully without being disturbance to them or without being we ourselves getting disturbed. If we see the first two aspects in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the Yama and Niyama, if we summarize this, it amounts to the world should not become a problem to us and we should not become a problem to the world. That is Yama. And Niyama is we ourselves should not become a problem to us. So, if we are doing meditation in Brahma Muhurtam, it solves all these problems. What exactly do we achieve in meditation? Perhaps the greatest treatise on meditation, the Dhyana Yoga, the path of meditation, it is also called as the Raja Yoga, the royal road to divinity, is the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. The second sutra says, Yogaschitta Vritti Nirodhaha, which means meditation is nothing but cessation of various modifications of the mind. When the mind is quietened, it is stilled, it becomes calm, the waves in the lake of the mind. What happens? The next sutra says, Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam, which means the true identity of ours, our true self, the Brahman or the Atman, the consciousness, whatever name we give it, that shines forth, that becomes manifest, that reveals in its fullest glory. So, through meditation, what we attain is our attachment to the body and the mind. When Swami says, you are not the body, you are not the mind, but still we have this attachment. The Dehabhimana, that falls away so that the Atma Bhava, the true Atman consciousness emerges. But otherwise what happens? Otherwise what is happening to us in our day-to-day? The next sutra says, Vritti Sarupya Itaratra, means the self gets identified with the mind. The self thinks it is the mind. See, to some extent, we can be easily convinced we are not the body because we are in spiritual fold with Bhagwan for such a long time. But you are not the mind. It is so easy to get to convince ourselves. We always identify ourselves with the mind. That is why we say, I am happy, I am sad, I am not in a mood to do meditation today. All this is identification with the mind. But when we meditate, we are able to connect to that innermost core, the true identity, the self. This is exactly the purpose of meditation. 3 common problems everybody comes up when they want to meditate is laziness, restlessness, and the problem of thoughts. See, they say, either I fall asleep when I close my eyes and sit in meditation, or I am not able to sit quietly. I am just looking at the clock. When is this 15 minutes of meditation getting over? The problem of restlessness and thoughts. Everybody is facing with these problems. See, somebody calculated there are about 16,000 thoughts in one human mind in 24 hours. So what a chaos it can be, we can all imagine. So whenever we close our eyes, when the thoughts torment us, the thoughts usually related to the past, related to our past, causing regrets. Oh, if only I had behaved this way, I wouldn't be in this position. Thoughts related to the future, anxiety. What if it doesn't work out? Where will I be? These are the kind of thoughts that torment us, especially so when we want to sit quietly. And it is said, don't follow a thought. Let the thought come and go by, just pass by. Don't give color to the thought, don't connect to the thought. Instead, shift your focus back to your object of meditation, be it the Jyoti, the name of the Lord, or form of your chosen deity, or the mantra upon which you are meditating upon. And one of the skillful ways I would say to handle the thoughts is, before starting meditation, humbly offer them at the lotus feet of the Master. Oh Swami, you take care of the thoughts. You handle the thoughts. You concentrate through me. You meditate through me. This through me technique, otherwise also, Swami listen through me, Swami speak through me, Swami act through me. This is a very powerful way to get rid of or to deal with the thoughts that torture us during meditation. So, begin every session of meditation with an elevating prayer to the Lord. Chant the 3 Omkars and begin with a meditation. It can be a chant, the Gayatri mantra or the Sai Gayatri, or it can be even an informal prayer. When it is an informal prayer which we pray in our mind, it is beneficial for others. But when we loudly chant a mantra, the divine vibrations sanctify the surrounding atmosphere, and it is very beneficial for everyone around us. So always start meditation with prayer. And then the practice of pranayama, several rounds of pranayama, is very, very important before we meditate. As Swami says, the mind and the breath, they are closely linked. He even says, always keep your attention on the breath. Inhalation, so, exhalation, hum. When we thus focus our attention on the breath, what happens? The inner chatter in the mind also slowly decreases. It ceases to exist at one point of time. So we are able to settle down in meditation without the thoughts bothering us. So the practice of pranayama is very, very important. And the yogic science also says, practice certain asanas before you meditate, and even Kapalbhati. Well, what are the kind of asanas we have to practice? I think we should ask Professor Narayan Reddy sir, who is teaching yoga to all of us regularly in the ashram. Then, another way to deal with these thoughts. See, Swami says the mind is like a monkey that jumps from branch to branch and tree to tree, covering the entire forest in just very short span of time. The mind also jumps from thought to thoughts. But if we are able to shift our focus from thoughts to thought, different thoughts to one thought preferably of the name of the Lord or a mantra. This is called the Nama Japa or the Mantra Japa. When we recite this mantra continuously before meditating, we are able to fix our attention on one thought. This is the power of Namasmarana, the power of Nama Japa. It is like training the monkey to climb the same tree up and down so that it doesn't run amok. And the power of Namasmarana cannot be underestimated. When the universe was created, when there was a division of property between Nara and Narayana, Narayana said, I will hide my form. I'll keep the form with me. I'll withdraw the form. I will not be manifest in the universe. But you, Nara, I will empower you with my name. So the name is so powerful, or in fact more powerful than the Narayana himself. And also he said, there is this Nama Nami Abheda, which means there is no distinction between the Nama, the name, the Nami, the bearer of the name. So whenever we utter the name, we summon the Lord to readily respond to us. This is what happened to Pedabottu Amma. She would sleep outside Swami's room in the veranda. And as her habit was, one night before going to sleep, she said, Sai Rama, that's all. And Swami immediately opens the door and comes out. Why did you call me? And she says, where did I call you, Swami? I just said Sai Rama, that's all. Then Swami said, when you call out my name, I readily respond to you. This is the power of the name which helps us to fix our attention on one thought the name of the Lord. Whatever may be the name, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Shri Sai Ram, whatever is dear to our heart. So practice of mantra japa, nama japa goes a long way in controlling the thoughts in our mind. And as I said in the beginning, the negative forces have to be driven away. The mind has to be cleansed. There has to be chitta shuddhi. How do we attain this chitta shuddhi? Once a famous devotee of Bhagwan, Dr. Fanibanda, asked Bhagwan, Swami, what is the role of Sri Sathya Sai Seva organization in your divine mission? Swami said, nothing. Nothing, Swami. Then why is such a big organization spread across so many countries? Swami said, for your chitta shuddhi, I have given this seva activity to you. So how do we get chitta shuddhi? Chittasya shuddhaye karmaha. Through karma alone. And what kind of karma? What kind of action? An action done with an attitude of prayer, gratitude to the Lord, done as a worship to the Lord, and done as an offering to the Lord, which is transformed into karma yoga. Such a kind of karma brings about chitta shuddhi in us. And what does Swami say? This karma yoga is nothing but selfless seva. When we serve somebody, that's why Swami would say, serve and be saved. So selfless seva purifies our mind. It humbles our ego. It makes us identify ourselves with others and readily respond to their need and suffering. So we develop sensitivity for others so that the selfishness automatically leaves and mind slowly, steadily, but surely gets purified through seva. So for chitta shuddhi, practice karma yoga, seva. And then the mind needs to focus. Chitta ekagrata, the single pointed focus. How do we get it? Swami says the various bhakti practices, namasmarana, prayer, nagar sankirtan that we attend, or even bhajan singing, attending satsangs, even ritualistic worship, all these are various kinds of bhakti practices that are designed to give us chitta ekagrata so that our thought rests on the divine alone without wandering elsewhere. But the bhakti practices have to be done with awareness. Otherwise, it becomes a mundane mechanical ritual, taking us nowhere. There has to be intensity. There has to be consistency. We should do it mindfully, consciously, with the thought on the divine. We must do it. See, Bhagwan often narrates this anecdote from the life of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Once Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was discoursing and Rani Rasamati was seated in front. And Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, suddenly he slaps Rani Rasamati. And she is bewildered. What is this? Then Ramakrishna Paramahamsa says, your mind is here, your body is here. But your body is here, but the mind is elsewhere, it is in the palace. This should not happen to us in bhakti. It must be always dwelling on the divine. Even when we sing bhajans, it is best to close our eyes and visualize the form of the Lord whose glory we are singing, or even contemplate on the meaning of each and every word in the bhajan. That gives us chitta ekagrata. And not only this, as Swami often would say, bhakti is not a uniform that can be worn only on certain days of the week, and on other days you don't wear it. Like on Sundays we don't wear our uniform. But bhakti is not like that. It is a full-time occupation. From dawn to dusk, whatever activity you do, however mundane it is, it has to be spiritualized or divinized with the thought of the divine. And Bhagwan gives very interesting tips for this. As you are having bath, as you are cleaning your body with soap and water, cleanse your mind by chanting the Gayatri mantra. And when you are giving bath to your child, think that you are doing Abhishekam to Shivalingam. And before eating, chant Brahmarpanam so that you know you are not the doer, you are not the enjoyer, you are not the Kartru or the Bhoktru. The Lord, Harir Data, Harir Bhokta, He is the consumer. He is the enjoyer. And when you're doing sweeping and mopping, think that your heart is being swept of all the impurities. And when you are cutting vegetables, think that your ego is being cut into pieces. And when you roll the chapatis, as the concentric circles of chapatis grow, think that your love is expanding likewise. And we can also see washing a big pile of utensils, it's a drudgery for women folk especially. So we can all think we are washing away our karmas when we are washing the utensils. Then we will look forward to washing utensils, because after all we are here in this world, in this life, to get rid of our karmas and reduce our karmic burden. Likewise, we can devise our own methods to spiritualize every mundane activity of ours. And when we go to bed, we can tell ourselves that we are sleeping in the lap of the Divine Mother, so that we are able to sleep peacefully. And Swami also says, chant the Gayatri mantra before going to sleep, because the power of Gayatri is that it is like paying cash and buying goods. There is no credit involved here. So when you chant the Gayatri, the day's karmas are atoned for on that very day itself. There is no carrying forward of the karmas. And Swami also says, end every meditation session by chanting the Gayatri 3 times. Why? Swami says, your mind is elevated to a higher plane of existence during meditation. And when you pray Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat, your your intellect gets illumined, and it will carry on this meditative state throughout the day. So divinizing every activity of ours, it helps us see throughout the day. It is the same mind that has to engage itself in worldly things and that has to concentrate in meditation also. After all, it is the same mind. Throughout the day, you are dwelling in the thought of divinity. By connecting every action into this one divine thought, it becomes easy for us to single-pointedly focus in meditation. Chitta ekagrata becomes easier. It is called Brahmara Kita Nyaya in Vedanta. Means a worm, a caterpillar, constantly thinking of the butterfly, it gets metamorphosed into a beautiful butterfly. The same way, the mind, even in and through worldly activities, with constant thought on the divinity, it focuses only on divinity, even when we sit in meditation, so that a sense of eternity prevails. The world is left behind. There is no husband, wife, children, father, mother, the world. Only we and the object of our meditation, the divine, the self, or whatever we are meditating upon. So this is true bhakti yoga, which gives us chitta ekagrata. Then, whenever we get an opportunity to be in the sannidhi, the presence of elevated souls, people who are adept in meditation, the Brahmagnanis, we should never miss an opportunity. We should attend such satsangs. If the proximity of elevated souls is so powerful, just think how powerful it would be to be in the presence of the avatar, the God in the human form himself. We have all had this opportunity. We have been blessed with this opportunity of darshan. Darshanam papanashanam. And Swami would often caution us, never underestimate the power of my darshan. As I walk past you, my energy flows unto you. So select a quiet corner after darshan and soak in this energy. Don't waste this time. You may say, of course, this was possible when the physical form was there. But what about now? See, those days, darshan was meditation. But now, meditation is darshan. Only with our eyes closed and with our focus on the form, we can see him. So, what we need is a change in shifting our focus from the form outside to the form within. So that is why meditation becomes so relevant and so much important for us today, when we do not have the physical form anymore with us. And the company of people we mingle with is very, very important. Swami would say ABC, avoid bad company. See, we should be preferably away from both kinds of people. What are these kinds? People who praise us. See, whenever we do something, when people praise us, we gloat over our success. We become elated. Then we are entertaining ego and doership. The very purpose of our sadhana is defeated. We are here to get rid of this ego and doership. Realize that we are instruments. And also people who unnecessarily criticize us. They put us down. See, the greatest pitfall for a sadhaka on the spiritual path is when we think our method of sadhana is superior to that of others. Oh, why do you want to meditate? You just do seva, that is enough. This should not be the case. We should never indulge in such kind of things. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa would say, Jato mat, tato path. As many faiths, so many paths. Everybody has his own path, but every path is equal and one and the same. It is how you walk through and how you reach the goal matters. The path, it is left to you. You can follow your own path. See, so many times in the name of spirituality, we become so rigid. In the name of discipline, we lose our sensitivity for others, concern for others. Swami would say, culture is concern for others. We become so rude and we just don't care for other feelings. We lose the basic courtesy. It happens to us many times without our own knowledge. See, this happened once in Kodaikanal. The students who had accompanied Swami were seated for lunch, and there was an overseas devotee who was present, who was the guest of the day. And as soon as the food was served, this devotee started eating. And everybody is looking at each other, all the boys, the students. It is a sacrilege in the presence of Brahman to eat without chanting Brahmarpanam. But Swami then whispered something in the ears of the first student who was seated in the first row. And the message was passed on. But the last student did not get the message. He started loudly chanting Brahmarpanam. But when he saw nobody was accompanying him, he just kept quiet. Later, he learnt that Swami had passed on the message. See, don't chant Brahmarpanam aloud. You chant it mentally and then start eating. See, this is the concern that the Lord Himself has for others. The compassion that He shows. These are the small things that we must learn from the Lord and practice in our spiritual sadhana. And in order not to be led astray in our chosen path of spirituality, Bhagwan says, practice 4 kinds of bhavas in your daily interactions. With those who have the same mental wavelength as you, have Maitri, friendship. They are your fellow pilgrims to the lotus feet. And those who are below you for any reason, don't look down on them. Have compassion, karuna. Try to help them as much as you can, in whatever way you can, whenever you can. And those who are above you, don't criticize them. Don't be jealous of them. Have mudita. Rejoice in their success and achievement. And with those, most importantly, with whom you cannot see eye to eye. The 2 parallel lines which just don't meet. With such people, have upeksha, practice upeksha, detached indifference. Don't hate them. And the best thing would be to even pray for them. Keep away from them. Don't involve with them. And practice upeksha. So when we are able to consciously practice all this in our day-to-day worldly relationships, what happens? The small, petty, sundry things which pull us away from our goal, they will not be there, and we can focus better. And now I will come to the Vairagya aspect. The Abhyasa aspect I have covered, and now the Vairagya, most important for progress in meditation. What is Vairagya? When we translate into English loosely, detachment. And how do we get this? Swami says it is like the 2 arms of the seesaw. When one arm goes up, the other arm naturally comes down. When your attachment to God goes up, the attachment to worldly things naturally comes down. So, keeping our focus on the higher purpose in life, naturally our inclination, our lower tendencies, they automatically fall away. This is how slowly we develop detachment. And how do we keep our focus on the higher all the time? For this, we need practice of asceticism in our life. What is asceticism? It means simply to simplify our lives. In this age of consumerism, actually we can say there is a rage of consumerism. There is a change from our culture, in our culture, from necessity to superfluous. This is what is happening to us. Starting from the toothpaste that we use to clean our teeth every day, such a mundane thing, starting from this, to the vacation, holiday vacation we want to take during vacation. There is a wide variety of choices. Thanks to the social media which come out, which bombard us with all sorts of advertisements. One of the advertisements says, a person with iPhone 6, he is grinning, which means when you get the iPhone, you also get that happiness. You can also smile and grin like him. It may be true for some time, but soon the phone becomes outdated. Another model comes. Yes, iPhone 7 comes along, but what happens to your happiness? Whether you get true happiness or not, a lasting happiness or not, Apple makes money, but it is of no value to us, no benefit to us. So what we are doing is, we are not only spending, but we are wasting our precious time, energy, efforts, and even money in running behind these things. Oh, which ones to choose from? This is suitable or that is suitable? This or that? What should I go for? This is what is happening. We are wasting our precious energy instead of focusing on the goal of human life. We get carried away so much by all these things. That is why we need to simplify our lives and practice asceticism. It is said Albert Einstein had only 4 sets of similar looking suits in his wardrobe. Not that he couldn't afford, but every morning he didn't want to waste his time standing in front of the wardrobe. Which one should I wear today? Which one would suit me better? And when we do this, it also increases our body consciousness, our attachment to the body. That is why we need practice of asceticism to get vairagya. So, the pace with which we lead our lives has to slow down. It doesn't mean we have to be lazy, we have to be ineffective. It means to cut down on all the passive participation acts in our life. What is a passive act? Any act that doesn't make our mind more alert, sharper, and more self-contained, that is a passive act. What are these? Innumerable acts that we are all indulging in the name of relaxation after a heavy day's work. What are these? The phone calls, the social visits, the social network sites, the Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, whatnot, TV viewing, endless hours, video games, computer games. All these are passive acts which take us nowhere as far as our spiritual journey is concerned. This has to be cut down. This is exactly slowing down the pace of life. On the other hand, an active participation is very beautifully termed in Sanskrit as tapasya. Tapasya means ceaselessly working towards a worthy goal. Even if the results are not instantaneously visible, to persevere on the path. As Swami says, 3 P's which are important: purity, patience, perseverance. That is tapasya. But to have even little bit of success in any walk of life, be it our job, studies, education, our relationships, we need tapasya. We are all doing it, we have done it. Why can't we extend this to spiritual path as well? See, we all want good results, but we do not want to put in the efforts that is required for such good results. We all know how to lead our lives. We all have set an ideal for ourselves, but we fail to live up to it. Why does this happen to us? We strive, we fall back. We strive, we fall back. We keep committing the same mistakes again and again. More so with meditation. Why does this happen to us? I would like to explain an insight, a profound insight into this aspect of human psychology as it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. As I said, it is a user-friendly manual of life, contemporary even today. See, what is the key difference between Duryodhana and Arjuna? The Lord comes to the court of the Kauravas to explain to them the futility of the war, the colossal destruction that is going to bring about. It is of no use to anybody. It will only cause bloodshed. He says, just part away with 5 gramas, the Panchagramas, to the Pandavas, and you can prevent this war. But Duryodhana is in no mood to listen. Like the modern day youngsters, whenever elders want to tell them, advise them something, they say, "Are gyan mat do yaar, don't try to preach me a sermon, I know what to do." This is what Duryodhana also says. Janami dharmam nachame pravartihi. I know what dharma is, I know what is right, I know what to do, what not to do. But nachame pravartihi, I just don't feel like doing it. Janami adharmam nachami nivrittihi. I know what wrong is, what adharma is, but I cannot prevent myself from doing it. Why not? Why not? He goes on to say, Kenapi devena hridistithena yatha niyojitosmi tata karosmi. There is this deva, this force inside me that directs me to act the way I act. I just couldn't care. This is what Duryodhana says. That is why we keep committing the same mistake again and again. We just don't care. But look at Arjuna. Arjuna asked this as a question to Lord Krishna. Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. Oh Lord, compelled by what? Impelled by what? Does man commit sin again and again? Anichanapi, though he doesn't want to do it. Baladiva niyojitaha, as if he is forced into doing it. Why does it happen to me? Because Arjuna wants to pull himself out of this predicament, out of this dilemma. He wants to improve himself. The Lord's reply is very, very interesting. Krishna says, in all our worldly interactions, there are 2 levels. A subconscious level and a conscious level. At this level of the subconscious, there is something called Prakriti. Prakriti simply, when translated to English, means nature, one's own nature. We are often acting by our own nature. In any given situation, we react because of this Prakriti. And what is this Prakriti made up of? This Prakriti is made up of samskaras. Samskaras, the impressions which we have gathered not only from our childhood, but also from several previous births. See, whatever we think, whatever we speak, whatever we do, that all gets expressed as an action in the present, but it also leaves an indelible impression in the subconscious. That becomes a samskara. So, we are all made, the subconscious is made up of this Prakriti full of samskaras. And Krishna says the samskaras are of 2 types. 2 broad categories, raga, dvesha, like and dislike. All other samskaras fall under these 2 broad categories. See, for example, somebody irritates me for some reason or the other, a very trivial reason. What happens? if this Krodha samskara is predominant in me, see, remember, since the samskaras are at a subconscious level, we do not know what type of samskaras we have, good, bad, positive, negative. We have no clue at all. So we have no control over these samskaras. And the moment this samskara gets expressed as an action, we have no control over it. We cannot take back the action. So somebody irritates me, if this Krodha, the anger samskara, is predominant in me when without my knowledge, then if I allow this samskara to fructify, what happens? I say I was burning from head to toe. My blood was boiling. I just hurl an insult at that person. I may even try to hit him. And only to regret later, oh, why did I behave like this? It has robbed me of my own peace of mind. So, this samskara becoming a vritti, this cycle is going on ceaselessly in our lives. Evam vritti samskara chakram aharnisham avartamana. Day in and day out, this is what goes on. And that is why certain action of ours which are inexplicable, just they come out of prakriti. They just come out of our preconditioning or habituation. But where is the way out? This is what is exactly the question of Arjuna. How do I pull myself out of it? But Krishna says, Indriyasya indriyasyarthe ragadvesho vyavasthitau tayorna vashamagachet tauhi asya paripanthinau. Every indriya, every sense organ has a vishaya, a subject, which means the eyes see, the ears hear, the tongue tastes and speaks, and so on. And in every vishaya, every subject, these likes and dislikes are there. I like it, I want it at any cost, I am going to have it, I am going to hold on to it, come what may, like a leech, and I will always have it, I will do anything to possess it, raga. Dvesha, I just don't like it, I hate this, I don't want it, I want to get rid of it. This is what is happening. He says this raga dvesha or your worst enemies, tauhi asya paripanthinau, tayorna vashamagachet, don't come under the sway of this raga dvesha. And how are we supposed to do this? Krishna says, see, as you feel this samskara, a particular samskara, bubbling up inside you in any given situation, then at the junction of the subconscious and the conscious level, there is a narrow window of opportunity where you can pause for a moment. Don't react immediately. Choose your response. Pause for a moment and you can exercise your self-control consciously here. You can choose to disallow that samskara which is not in accordance with your goal. Or you can filter it out, or you can even replace it with a better samskara, a positive samskara, which becomes a positive vritti. When the vritti, the thought is positive, the resultant samskara again becomes positive. So samskara is positive, vritti is negative. So the whole cycle is now changed into a positive cycle. So a thought, Swami would say, reap an action. So an action, reap a habit. So a habit, reap a character. So a character, reap a destiny. I would give a small example. See, tomorrow morning I want to get up at 4 o'clock to meditate because it is good for me. I want to realize the self, and meditation is one of the powerful methods. I know it, I keep the alarm. But if I allow this tamas or the laziness samskara, which is at the subconscious level, to fructify tomorrow morning, I just switch off the alarm and go back to sleep. So, I am not disallowing this samskara, though I know it is not in line with my goal. Here, but if I disallow this samskara, what happens? No matter whatever my mind says, I get up, I sit and meditate. I would like to introduce at this juncture two terms which Bhagwan speaks very beautifully in the Upanishad Vahini, in the chapter on Kathopanishad. The Shreya and Preya. Shreya, the good. Preya, the pleasant. See, in life, whatever is good for us, if it is pleasant also, there is no problem at all. There is no dilemma. Life is so smooth sailing. but the efforts are most often not pleasant, but the result is good. So, we always have to make a choice between the good and the pleasant, the Shreya and Preya in selecting our samskaras. How do we make a choice? In objective type of questions in the exam, we tick the choice, isn't it? Whatever we want to select, we tick it. So we have to always put a tick against the Shreya. But we should also remember to put a into against the Preya. We should cut out this Preya. We should strike this Preya out. This is what is known as decision making. The word decision is derived from the root caesare. Caesarean section, we have all heard, cutting open and taking out the baby. So, decision making is to cut out something which we do not want. Cut out, strike out the Preya and always select the Shreya. See, if I don't remove the Preya from my mind, what happens? Tomorrow morning the alarm goes. I know the Shreya tells me, you get up and meditate, you better get up. But if Preya is still an option, the cozy bed is there, nice cooly, cool, windy morning is there, nice breeze is blowing and very congenial for sleeping, I go back to sleep. So always remember to put an into against the Preya when you select the Shreya. Only then there is no dilly-dallying. You can make your decision for sure. This power of decision making, which Duryodhana had, unfortunately he didn't even want to know about it. Arjuna had, he exercised it successfully, and we all have in every moment of our life when there is a choice between Shreya and Preya, the good and the pleasant. Always make use this conscious control at the level of the subconscious and the conscious at this narrow window of opportunity. This will help us a great deal in meditation also, to sticking steadfastly through our resoluteness for our resolution of meditation. So these are some of the points I wanted to share in basic preparation for meditation. I would quickly run through a quick recap, a Simhavalokana. The first one, regularity is very important. The time we meditate, the Brahma Muhurtam. And one more thing I probably forgot is the place of meditation. We should have a fixed place to meditate every day. See, just as we want the coziness of our bedroom to sleep when we want to sleep, and the comfort of a dinner table to eat, when we have a fixed place, our mind naturally goes to a meditative mood. So have a fixed place for meditation. Sit with eyes closed with the spine erect. This is important. So regularity, time, place, and then karma yoga to get chitta shuddhi. The fifth one is practice of bhakti yoga. Connect every activity throughout the day to the thought of divinity. This is to get chitta ekagrata, and practice of maitri, karuna, mudita, upeksha in your worldly interactions with people and in our relationships, and practice of asceticism. Very, very important to simplify our life and always have the focus on the higher purpose in life, so that detachment to worldly things naturally develops. So to slow down on all passive participation activities, and to always select the Shreya, to cut out the Preya, to stick to our resolution. And I think I have summarized the whole talk in these few points, and I would like to end with a small Chinnakatha. 4 young men were once walking in a forest one evening. One of them was a karma yogi who believed that seva alone can redeem my life. The second one was a bhakta, a devotee, who was convinced that through surrender to Lord alone, I will become one with the Lord. The third one was a meditator, a dhyani, who thought that only in the quietude of the mind I can see the reality that is beyond the mind. And no points for guessing the fourth one. He is a Gnani, who always engaged in vichara. Who am I? I am I. And it starts suddenly raining very heavily. So all these young men, they want to take shelter somewhere because the rain has intensified. The devotee says, there is a temple in this forest, we'll go and take shelter there. And all of them run to the temple. It is an old, dilapidated temple with just a roof above and a floor below. There are no walls, there are no doors, and there is a small Shivalingam in the middle. And they are taking shelter from rains. And the rain further intensifies. It is lashing out at them from all four directions. So all of them have no other way but to come together in a close huddle and embrace the Shivalingam. And lo and behold, at this point, Shiva shows up, the Lord appears. And these four people, they are not happy, but they are shocked. See, Lord, through our respective paths, when we were persevering, putting in so much efforts to see you, you never gave darshan. And why now, when we are not even thinking of you, we are thinking of our own safety? The Lord smiles and says, I was waiting for this moment of all of you to come together without forgetting your differences. So it is the confluence of karma, bhakti, dhyana and gnana that is needed even for progress and success in meditation. As Swami would very beautifully say, karma is the earthen lamp, bhakti is the oil you put in it, dhyana, meditation is the wick, and gnana is nothing but the light in the lamp. With deepest sense of gratitude, I thank Bhagwan for this opportunity to contemplate on his teachings. And I pray to the Lord fervently to bless all of us to walk straight and right on the path of spirituality without being led astray by sundry petty things of day-to-day dealings. I thank the organizers and I thank every one of you for your patient listening. Let him revel in the crowd, let him revel in solitude, let him revel in worldly enjoyment, or let him revel in yogic practice. But he whose mind dwells, revels on the Brahman all the time, he alone derives bliss. He alone is blissful. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihinaha yasyad brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandati nandatyeva. This is true meditation, and this is also before, during and after meditation. Thank you very much. Jai Sai Ram. Shall we conclude with Shanti Mantra? Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Samasta lokaha sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।